I didn't because I was saving it for the show.
That's great.
He's in the crowd and he's obviously jamming with some of the kids in the crowd, and like this mom is just like there, and he turns face tits and he just goes for it, and I'm like, I am so in love with you. You give me so much life. And so, you know, their set was amazing. They absolutely slayed Mavericks. And so we're kind of chilling. I will say the one thing about the show that really aggravated me was how fucking long it took for Sebastian to get on stage. There was legit about almost like an hour and 15 minutes between the sets.
Did they ever find out why, or did
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know if it was like technical shit. I don't know if because at one point during Sebastian's set, he looked at his band and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And like everybody starts laughing because Sebastian just like dadded them really hard. And I'm just like, I adore you so much. But so we're hanging out, and like they mentioned that the guys were going to be signing autographs and like hanging out after the show. And I was like, okay, I really didn't want to wait until after the show, but I did want to say hi, and I did want to, you know, at least touch base with them and tell them, hey, you're awesome. Thanks for coming. But so I'm sitting there after the show. My ears are completely shot. I can barely like function because like I am fucked up. Proper rock hangover. It was fantastic. So I'm leaning against this table and I'm, you know, texting Julie, and Megan was like, you need to look at the bar. Okay. So I look at the bar and Mr. Perfect fucking hair is just hanging out. So she's like, do you want to go meet Archie? And I'm like, I mean, okay. So we walk over and Megan's like, you know, you guys were great. You know, thank you for coming. Like, you guys just absolutely killed it. And, you know, can I give you a hug? And Archie's like, yeah, you can give me a hug. So he was very, very sweet. Absolutely the most genuine, adorable person I've ever met. So I obviously give him a hug as well. First words out of my mouth, I'm like direct eye contact with the kid. And I'm like, you guys fucking killed it. And I'm just like, obviously kind of freaking out on the inside because I absolutely love this kid. He's just, there's something about him that I can't put my finger on it. But I've never reacted to a musician like that. So I was kind of weirded out by that in and of itself. But he obviously saw that I was wearing a Santa Cruz shirt and he's like, hey, I like your shirt. And I'm like, yeah, they're, you know, this really cool band. They're not from here. Have you ever heard of them? And he's like, yeah, I hear they kind of suck though. And he smiles and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, what can I actually say to that? So we obviously took a few pictures, gave him another hug, you know, told him thank you for coming out. And, you know, he seemed genuinely flattered that we thanked him. And that kind of blew my mind, and it really like makes me wonder the state of rock and roll right now, because he was like floored that we were, you know, thanking him for, you know, being there.
Well, to honestly be fair, he's so used to playing over in like the UK and Japan and like just places not here, and there's this stigma that the United States is like the promised land and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to get like worldwide exposure if you become famous there or whatever. So for him, he's like a small fish in a huge ass pond. So to have somebody notice them and be there for him and his band, that's probably mind blowing to him.
See, we didn't even get to tell Archie that, but I don't doubt that Johnny probably told him, because after meeting Archie, we were kind of chilling, and the strangest thing for me was feeling really overwhelmed when I walked away, and I kind of sat there and I'm like, that actually just happened. And I don't get starstruck. I don't. Like, I don't even know what it was, but I sat there and I had to lean against this table because I was physically shaking. And like, I've never had that happen before, so I was really weirded out by it. And so MIDI comes out, which is creepy because it's like like really creepy. And Johnny comes out. So, you know, they're kind of hanging out. And Megan was like, hey, you want to like do it again? And I'm like, not really, but let's go. So she drags me over, and, you know, the first thing is, you know, we take a picture with them, and we're like, you know, thank you guys for coming out. Like, we love you. You guys are great. That was mind-blowing. Your set was awesome. Mitty's a flirt, a huge flirt, absolutely charming as all get the hell out, and I hate it. But I ended up talking more to Johnny, which was really strange, because I thought I was going to feel weird talking to them, but I didn't. Julie knows the anxiety I had going into even the potential of talking to them. But I talked to Johnny for a good, like, 5-10 minutes. And so when we were talking, I was like, honestly, when we found out about this tour, I was like, I need to go because I wanted to see your guys' first tour here. That's actually a substantial tour. And you guys are with Sebastian Bach. That has to be totally fucking mind-blowing for you. And he's like, yeah, this is pretty insane. I'm not gonna lie. But so, I told him, I was like, we made it a point, you know, we drove the, 3.5 hours from Tampa, and I was like, my goal was to come see you guys. Everything else is cake. And he just kind of had this like look on his face, like, okay, we're on tour with Sebastian Bach, and this bitch is saying she's here for us. What? But so he like leans over, and like I get, give him a hug and whatever. And he leans down and he's like, don't worry, we'll be back soon. And I'm like, I'm going to hold you to that, because the sooner the better, because I would not argue about seeing them again anytime soon. But yeah, they were very, very genuine, very sweet. I still need to know what cologne Johnny wears, because it's been bothering me for like 3 days. And, but yeah, if you have the opportunity to see Santa Cruz, you need to. And then this isn't like an option. You have to do it.
And they are on tour for like the next month and a half with Sebastian Bach.
They're on tour with him for 6 weeks. Like,
okay,
it's,
so yeah,
it's a fairly lengthy tour. But so after that, we're kind of chilling. Like, we talked to a couple other people, and this one guy was like super drunk, but he was like talking to us and asking us questions about Santa Cruz, because at that point, Megan and I are both wearing Santa Cruz shirts. And he also asked, are they from California? No, dude, they're from Finland. Archie said it like twice. But yeah, they're not from California. Not even one time. And then randomly, I was sitting there, and we were kind of jamming out to the music they were playing, and it was like 80s galore. I think it was during Panama, and I was kind of like rocking out, and the dude from earlier who initially talked to me when I was heading towards the bathroom comes up. I almost decked the guy in the face because I like swung my hand around and I didn't realize someone was there. And like I almost connected, and I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm so sorry. And he's like, hey, no, it's fine. You didn't know I was there. And he comes up and he's like, so did you have a chance to meet any of the guys? And I'm like, yeah, I talked with Archie, Johnny, and Mitty. And he's like, nice. I met the lead singer and the drummer. They were fucking dope. And I'm like, this kid is so excited, because he had never heard of them. And so he talked to them, and he was genuinely excited about them. And I told him, I was like, if you liked them, you need to go to their merch booth right now and buy a CD. Like, you do yourself that favor. It is worth the money. I actually bought a copy I have it, but we bought a copy at the show. But he was so pumped about them, and he was like, hey, I hope you have a good rest of your night, and like, thank you for, getting me pumped up to see them. They were fucking awesome. And I'm like, yeah, they're from Finland, remember?
Hashtag Finland.
They're from fucking Finland, not California. But yeah, it was really cool. And because Sebastian went on so late, we only stayed for like 5 songs. Mm-hmm. Because we had a 3.5 hour drive home.
Yeah.
We didn't get home until almost 3 a.m. Ugh.
I can attest to that because I was.
But yeah, right. But so Sebastian comes on stage, and this guy is larger than fucking life. Like, he really honestly is, but he's so cute. Like, he's really like dad of the year, where he just kind of comes out and he's like, hey guys, I'm Sebastian Bach, like, you know, I'm awesome, I love you guys. And I'm just like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? Did somebody let dad drink before is that why dad came on so late? Like, but no, he he was so charming, like, he really was. And the guy can sing his ass off. You usually see a lot of guys who had like the big fame in the 80s and 90s, and they're just like kind of just going through the motions now. But Sebastian is literally he's the real fucking deal. We actually were kind of watching the show with the Santa Cruz guys, which was hilarious. But the thing that was so amazing was he did one of the songs that he did on this reality show that he won, which was good. And then he's like, well, now we're going to do a song that started everything. And my head snaps toward Megan and Ryan. And I was like, if I hear the fucking, like, the riff, the start of 18 in Life, I'm done. Sure shit. That's what he plays. And, like, I instantly started crying because I grew up on the self-titled Skid Row album. That is still, to date, one of my top 5 albums of all time. And seeing that song live, I'm getting cold chills talking about it. I sat there and I cried like a bitch, and I have no shame. But he sang that song into the ground and resurrected it. Like, it was just a thing of beauty. And I looked at Megan and Ryan after the fact, and I was like, honestly, I could go home right now. I really could. Because it was just, that was the song that I wanted to see live. And he was just like, hey, because I went on so late, I'm going to sing this early so you guys can go home. He didn't actually do that, but that's totally how I interpreted it. But yeah, like, Sebastian is so immensely talented. And if you haven't had and part of the entire set that I saw was he obviously thanked Santa Cruz for, you know, coming out and just being awesome. And he called them the new Youth Gone Wild. And I kind of, like, sat there for a second and I, like, mulled it over in my head, and I'm like, yeah, that's a thing. And then a couple of days ago at this point, Archie actually got Youth Gone Wild tattooed on his arm as an ode and homage to Sebastian Bach, which I was just like, that is the cutest fucking thing ever. But those boys are so humble and so happy to be on tour with Sebastian that it's so refreshing to see an act in rock and roll that are that down to earth, that chill, that excited to meet fans. Like, it's crazy. They definitely deserve the attention that they're getting right now because they are the real deal.
And
but yeah, we came home.
I think the story, though, like the entire thing that you're telling, it's kind of like a whole cautionary tale of you really need to go out and support your local bands.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many that are so good and they don't get enough attention. And people like Santa Cruz, they're an overseas band and they want the exposure, not just like in Helsinki or anywhere else. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish them nothing but success because they're wonderful people from what you're telling me, and they're good.
Yeah. I don't know, there was just such an aura of just, like, genuine, like, excitement, and, like, they're in it for the music, and, you know, they have the talent. Archie can sing his fucking ass off. And I don't know, I have not seen an act in rock music in a very long time that was like them. And I think that's part of the reason why you and I are both so into them is because they just